Hello, everyone from Chelsea Fan TV. I hope you're all doing very, very well. Big up to everyone watching. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already as well. And like the video. Let's get straight into it. We're going to be talking, actually more reacting to what Todd Boehly has had to say. This is an interview that has not really had any traction. Haven't seen much talk about it. Nothing on Twitter, nothing on socials. Maybe I've missed it. But Boehly went to another summit, this time to do with Forbes. We know that he went to the Qatar Economic Forum and had a number of things to say about Chelsea. So, he did about a 26-minute interview for Forbes as well. And they did ask him about the club and about, his strategy, his intentions. And he had a number of things to say. I haven't actually watched all of it, but I've seen little snippets. So we're going to react to it together and see what it is that Boehly is thinking about.
So shifting to Chelsea, they've experienced multiple managerial and strategic shifts. How are you approaching long-term stability while balancing performance?
Well, I think we've got up the learning curve pretty quickly. I think we have, a really solid team. And we know, what we're trying to make additions to right now in order to fill out the robustness of the team. I think we found a manager who is aligned in the long-term vision. And, a lot of these, we've seen a lot of these guys become really good leaders. So we have really strong leaders in the clubhouse now.
Strong leaders in the clubhouse. Okay. Who are the leaders at Chelsea? Well, I'd say Ree James is probably a leader. I think he's certainly grown into a leader. I'll give you that. I think Tosin seems to be a leader in the dressing room. Who else? Enzo Fernandez, he's a leader. And I guess you could say Cole Palmer's like a silent leader by example. So those are the names that pop out to me. 3 genuine leaders, I'd say, in there. Let me know if I've missed anyone.
And I think that, this goal this year was to get 70 points. We thought 70 points would guarantee us Champions League. We got 69 points and we got Champions League. We were 4th.
The goal was 70 points. Now, I have to admit, I am a little bit... I'm surprised. I'm surprised that Boehly's come out and said that. Does it not surprise you as well? By the way, we didn't achieve our goal of 70 points. We ended up on 69 points. But that's besides the point. Why did we see? It's interesting when the way Boehly's looking at it is, rather than saying our goal was to achieve Champions League football, he said our goal was 70 points. So I do find that interesting. I find that fascinating as well, because the way a lot of football fans look at it, myself included in a lot of ways, is it doesn't matter how you achieve a goal, just that you do it. Whereas what Boehly's essentially said is if we get to 70 points, we should be okay and make Champions League football, but we can't guarantee it. And I think a lot of other owners will look at it in the sense of we need to finish in the Champions League, otherwise it's a failure. So let me know what your thoughts is on that as well. I am surprised that he's come out and said that, Boehly. And obviously this backs up what Maresca said as well previous in the season, because he was told that Champions League wasn't necessarily the target. And by that, what he was alluding to was what Boehly's just said there. The target was 70 points. So very interesting.
We're now going to get ready to play in the Club World Cup. The Club World Cup is going to be an exciting competition that, if you win, you'll make $100 million. So, I think we're really excited about that coming to America in advance of the World Cup next year. And, as a brand, we think Chelsea is, as good as it gets.
Okay. What do you see as the biggest growth opportunity in sports media in the next 5 years?
I think you're going to start to see all types of really interesting, immersive experiences. I think you're going to be able to go into an immersive environment and feel what it's like to, try to defend, a Cole Palmer goal kick. I think you're going to be able to start to see, taste these different elements of, the sports that right now are not, in reach, but with technology and Cosm and Sphere and immersive experiences like Anna and House of Hype, and all these things that are developing, Team Labs. We think the technology is coming where you're going to be able to experience things firsthand, and you're going to be able to have a taste of what it's like to really be on the pitch. And I think the speed of this game in football, for example, is insane. So when you see it firsthand, even when you're watching it live versus TV, it still doesn't capture it. Right. So I think there's a big opportunity to continue to figure out how to experience that. But this intellectual property, you're going to be able to repurpose it, and you're going to be able to think different ways to use it. I think Arsenal's done a really good job with their Diamond Club. So I think they're going to be able to continue to offer, great access, great experience. And I think people in this world are really excited about access and experiences.
Boehly's basically saying he's taken inspiration from the Diamond Club at Arsenal. If you go on Arsenal's website and you look at the Diamond Club, this is what the Diamond Club is. The Diamond Club encapsulates the pinnacle of luxury and exclusivity, comprising an open plan restaurant, private dining booths, an armchair lounge, and a fabulous backlit onyx bar with perfect pitch views. The suite offers versatility to suit all styles of events, from dinners and parties to discreet meetings. And they can host up to 250 people in the Diamond Club. And this is what happens if you want a virtual tour as well. You can get a virtual tour in there. Not that this is my normal thing to do, but right, this is the virtual tour. Can I go through that door? No. Right. But this is to give you an idea of what it is that Boehly and Eghbali are planning for Chelsea. I mean, Boehly's literally telling us what inspires him. So you can see it's right in the center as well of the pitch. So you'll have the best view. It reminds me a bit of Westview based on what I'm seeing now, but more luxurious. You've got a bar there. Yeah, very luxurious as well. But why is it important? Why is this Diamond Club relevant? Why are we talking about it? Because what do you get when you offer this type of environment at the football? What are you able to do that you can't do in Matthew Harding and you can't do in the Shed? When you have tables and people can have, fine dining. Look, you can have meals and you can sit down on the sofa and have private meetings. You've even got booths in the background as well. What are you able to do with these people? You are able to charge extortionate prices. That is what you're able to do. And at Chelsea, if we're looking at the executive club as an example, which I guess is like the equivalent of the Diamond Club at Arsenal, the executive club at Chelsea is upwards of about £12,000 a season. So Boehly's not talking about upgrading MHL and the Shed and trying to make it more inclusive for other fans who can't necessarily afford tickets. He's talking about the Diamond Club here and an experience. But what does this experience cost? That's the question we should be asking. And we already know that the answer, as you've just seen, I've shared my screen with you now, it's not going to be cheap. So this is not a surprise, but that gives you a bit of an insight into the Diamond Club at Arsenal.
It's more so than, just products. I think you're seeing it with LVMH. LVMH right now is thinking a lot about luxury travel as opposed to just luxury product. So we're seeing it with FlexJet in our portfolio there. Mm-hmm. The people are willing to spend money on things that, are different than just product. It's becoming more and more experience.
People are willing to spend the money.
We're almost out of time, but I want to double back on Chelsea. Congratulations on the Conference League win and the Champions League qualification. What a way to mark 3 years of ownership. You've made several bold changes in that time, and this moment reflects that payoff. Perhaps the first of many through it all. Ree James, your captain and blue since the age of 7, has been a constant. This embrace, which I think we have up above on screen, felt symbolic. You're not known to be an overly emotional person, but tell us what that moment meant for you.
Well, you know, Reese, he's become a real leader. And watching him develop over the course of the last couple of years, because he's had a lot of struggles. And, you know, the reality is kind of how we experienced our first couple of years was a little bit of a parallel of how Reese's last 3 years have been. And so to get ourselves back to the top of world football was a great moment. And to see Reese back on the pitch, I think he played 35 times this year or something. And, you know, it was as many times as he's been on the pitch the last couple of years. So, you know, and the other thing that Reese gave me a lot of credibility because he was our first signing when we got the club, and we extended him, and, you know, he was like the Rock, and all I heard was Real Madrid wants him, Real Madrid wants him. So I was panicked when I got there, and, you know, he's the best right back in the world. So for him to kind of sign up and commit to us and then go through what, you know, kind of we collectively went through, and then to make it how we made it and get back and to watch Reese. I mean, you know, if you haven't seen his assist against Man United, that pretty much single-handedly won the game. I mean, we had to win 8 out of 9 games at the end in order to accomplish what we had to accomplish. And a lot of it came down to that guy's leadership. And watching him on the pitch, I mean, the class is just insane. So the assist he had against Man United basically sums up, you know, the type of player, but more importantly, you know, not only a great player, but becoming just the best leader and a captain who, you know, has been Chelsea through and through, and, you know, he means so much to the club, and the club means so much to him.
It's such an interesting answer as well from Boehly on Ree James. Obviously, for those of you who don't know, Boehly was the one who was running things when James extended his contract. He's on $250,000 a week. Tell me if Boehly would pay him that. No chance. And what this does tell you, and I can never say this for sure, but this could give you an indication of where Chelsea would go under an ownership driven by Boehly specifically, okay, if he was in charge of the reins. Not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying this is an indication of what it could be like. You look at the way that we treat some of our players at the moment. Trevor Chalobah is a great example of that. And Boehly has always been the one in charge of things since Chalobah's been exiled, etc. That's not been Boehly. I just think that if there's one thing that I would give Boehly credit for, is I think he understands that homegrown players are quite important to football clubs. And I don't think he's just looking at it necessarily the way we look at it, but he's also looking at it from a branding perspective. You know, he's always thinking that way. I do believe that. But also, this is a guy that's willing to retain the best talent and pay big money for it as well. And James, ultimately, I think when he signed his new deal, nobody knew he would get injured so many more times. But I do think he deserved that deal, to be quite frank. He was the best right back in the world. He is, when he's fit, absolutely one of the best as well. I wouldn't say he's the best anymore, which is just down to his injuries, which is a real shame. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you think that if Boehly was taking control from the get-go, if you think that he would have paid Ree James $250,000 a week. I don't think he would. I don't think he would. And it does make me think, what if Boehly was still in control of footballing operations and he was in charge of Trevor Chalobah's situation? Would he be desperate to sell him like Boehly is? Or would there be a little bit more respect in terms of the way that the club treats a player?
So I know we're already out of time, but I'm remiss if I didn't ask you one last question. This about the Golden Globes, which...
Okay, we're not interested in the Golden Globes. Yeah, we're not interested in that. So there you go. That is that's predominantly what Boehly had to say about Chelsea. He spoke about Enzo Maresca, the fact that the club is aligned with Enzo Maresca. They think that they've learned their lessons pretty quickly over the past few years. He's also spoken about creating immersive experiences, and that's what they're really looking to do now. And they've seen inspiration from the Diamond Club at Arsenal, which again is the pinnacle of luxury and exclusivity, which means it's not for the everyday fan. It's not for fans who are already struggling as it is to go to games. We are talking about corporate hospitality and generally tourists as well, who have lots of money to spend. That seems to be one of the priorities that he's thinking about at the moment. And obviously the Ree James situation on top of that. So let me know what you think, guys, if you agree or disagree with anything Boehly said. I think that, I mean, if there's one thing you give him credit for, at least he's being honest about his intention with the Diamond Club. But we already knew this stuff anyway. But I am surprised by what he said about the 70-point mark being our goal. I'm surprised about that. And I'm also just sort of curious as to how he would run things now if he was still in control. Would he be implementing these strict wage caps in the same way that Clearlake are? Or would he be willing to actually pay players, you know, bigger amounts of money, which could have attracted the likes of Mannion to Chelsea and Osimhen and other players as well? Let me know in the comments, guys, if you agree or disagree, and we'll catch up very, very soon.